I stepped into our Ohio home, still buzzing from Tai Chi class, expecting the usual quiet. Instead, I caught Lauren on the phone, her voice a hushed rasp. 7 months pregnant, she snapped it shut when she saw me, forcing a grin. "Work," she said, brushing past to the kitchen. But her fingers twitched, betraying her. I'd spent years reading energy. Tai Chi sharpens that. And hers screamed wrong. She'd been edgy lately, blaming the baby, our Mia, kicking inside her. I bought it, played the supportive husband. Now that whisper lingered. "Who was it?" I asked, leaning on the counter. "Just a coworker." "Boring stuff," she said, scrubbing a plate too fast. Therefore I pushed. "You seemed off. Work stressing you." Her laugh came sharp, jagged. "I'm fine, Ryan. Just tired." Tired didn't cover it. We'd built 5 years together. Her bold laugh, my calm center. She'd mock my backyard forms, call me her Zen nut. But this wasn't her. That night, she scrolled her phone in bed, thumb hesitating. "Late shift tomorrow?" I asked casual. "Maybe," she muttered, eyes dodging. "Maybe." My stomach nodded. I could have grabbed the phone, demanded truth. But Tai Chi teaches timing. Wait for the move. So, I lay there, her breath even, mine uneven. Her late night errands flashed. Groceries, she'd said, gone too long. I thought it was nesting. Now doubt crept in. Was she hiding something? Someone? Morning hit, and I watched her pour coffee, humming. "Everything good?" I tried again. "Yes, Ryan," she snapped, then softened. I nodded, silent. The call wasn't nothing. It was a thread. I'd tug it soon. She didn't know I'd caught her. Not yet. Mia's nursery waited upstairs, crib half built by me. Our future. But that whisper gnawed, a crack in us. I exhaled slow, Tai Chi style, centering myself. Lauren was my rock, my fire. If she was slipping, I'd find out why. The phone sat on the table, daring me. I left it for now. Whatever she was burying, I'd dig it up, step by step. Lauren's edginess wasn't new, just louder since that call. She'd always been my spark, 5 years of her calling me out, laughing at my Tai Chi quirks. Now, pregnant with Mia, she flickered. Those errands started months ago. Diapers, milk, she'd say, leaving after dinner. I'd offered to go. She'd refused. "I need air," she'd insist, 8 months along. I let it slide, trusting her. But that whisper shifted me. So, next morning, I lingered by the fridge, watching her sip tea. "Rough night?" I asked, probing. "Slept fine," she said, eyes on her phone, swiping fast. Therefore, I tested her. "You been out a lot. Prepping for Mia?" She bristled. "What's that mean, Ryan?" Her tone bit. I shrugged, calm. "Just noticing." She stood, belly bumping the table, and huffed. "I can handle it." But her snap lit a fuse. I waited till she left for a doctor's visit, unmentioned till then, and check her coat. A gas receipt. 9:42 p.m., 15 miles out. No store there. My pulse jumped. We'd met at a bar, her belting tunes, me hooked. I proposed there, her yes ringing. Now I questioned it. Was she sneaking off? Therefore I kept quiet. She returned, all smiles, claiming the baby was perfect. "Our girl," she cooed, rubbing her belly. I nodded, but my mind raced. That receipt wasn't random. It was a lie's footprint. I pictured her late returns, cheeks flushed, blaming heat. Had I been blind? She'd been my truth. Now, maybe my fool. Mia's room upstairs held my dreams. Her first steps, my Tai Chi lessons for her. But if Lauren was meeting someone, what did that mean for us? For Mia? I couldn't ask, not yet. No proof. The receipt stayed in my pocket, a silent prod. I sat there, coffee cold, plotting. Next time she left, I'd follow. See for myself. Her phone buzzed. She ignored it, glancing at me. "You're quiet," she said. Thinking, I replied flat. She didn't push. Good. That was my fuel now. I'd chase it down. Mia deserved a father who knew the truth, whatever it was. Sleep dodged me, that receipt a live coal in my hand. Lauren acted normal, ironing baby clothes, asking about paint colors. But her ease felt staged. I smiled back, Tai Chi keeping me steady while my head churned. She grabbed her keys after supper. "Need wipes," she said, casual. 8 months pregnant, still solo. "I'll come," I offered. "No, I'm good," she shot back, then smiled. Won't be long. Therefore, I tailed her. I took the pickup, lagged behind her sedan, palms slick. This wasn't me, spying like some jealous creep. I'm the guy who breathes through sunrise, not this. But love blinds you. She didn't head downtown. She took Route 17, out to the Blue Moon Motel, a grimy speck I'd ignored before. I parked across, lights off, watching. She sat in her car, texting, then stepped out, belly heavy. A man waited, tall, jacketed, face hidden. She walked to him, no pause. My chest seized. Therefore I stayed, breath shallow. They talked, her hand grazing his sleeve, then slipped into room 12. The door clicked shut. I gripped the wheel, Tai Chi failing. Who was he? A fling? A secret? I thought she was restless, not cheating. 15 minutes. She emerged, laughing. He followed, vanishing into the lot. She drove off. I shadowed her home. She walked in with wipes, muttering, "Lines were nuts." I nodded, mute. She'd lied, smooth, bold. Therefore I held back. No confrontation, not without more. But that motel burned me. Was she sneaking all pregnancy? With him? I felt me a kick, called her ours. Now I doubted. Her belly held my hope, or his. I drove back later, alone, staring at that room. Dark now. I sat, planning. Mia's birth was close. I'd test her then. For now, I'd watch Lauren spin her web. She didn't know I'd seen. Not yet. Her phone sat on the counter, untouched. I left it, simmering. This wasn't paranoia. It was real. That shadow man loomed. I'd unmask him soon. Mia's cries would come, and I'd need answers. Truth first. Then I'd deal. Lauren unpacked those wipes, chatting about nursery curtains while I nodded, the motel etched in my skull. Her laugh with that guy, easy, warm, cut deeper than her lies. I'd built Mia's crib, picked her name, pictured her in my arms. Now, I wondered, was she mine? That night, I lay beside Lauren, her snores a taunt. Tai Chi couldn't hush this. I saw her pregnancy, her cravings, my doting. I thought it was us. But what if she'd been his all along? Therefore, I probed. Next day, while she bathed, I snatched her phone. Passcode held. Our anniversary. Texts were tame. Work, mom. Then a locked app. Photo vault. My gut sank. I didn't crack it. She'd hear. So I tossed a line. Ever hit the blue moon? I asked over breakfast, light. She choked on her juice. That hole? No. What? Passed it yesterday, I said, eyes on her. She laughed, shrill, then switched to Mia's kicks. Panic flashed. Therefore, I tracked her. Twice more, she hit that motel. Same man, same ease. I stayed back, snapping blurry shots, fury rising. She'd return with bags, groceries, excuses. I played along, smiling, breaking inside. Every belly rub she gave, I questioned, whose kid? Our life, our home, our trust, felt like ash. She glowed. I called it love. Now I saw shadows. By week's end, I snapped. Mia was due soon, and I needed to know, was she just cheating or carrying his baby? I'd felt Mia move, claimed her. Now doubt choked me. Therefore, I ordered a DNA kit, quiet, fast. It had arrived post-birth. I'd swab Mia, me, and see. Until then, I'd wait. Let Lauren think she'd fooled me. She smiled that night, all soft. You're tense, she said. Just eager, I lied. Eager to end this. That motel man haunted me, tall, faceless. Was he Mia's father? I'd held Lauren's hand at scans, dreamed of us. Now it might be a lie. The kit would tell. She hummed, oblivious. I watched, plotting. Mia's birth loomed, a truth bomb. I'd catch it, whatever it dropped. Mia arrived 3 weeks later, a squalling spark with my curls and Lauren's nose. The hospital glowed, Lauren radiant, me cradling Mia, her grip on my finger fierce. For a heartbeat, I forgot the motel, the doubt. But clawed back. Was she mine? I grinned for nurses, kissed Lauren, hid the fracture. Tai Chi couldn't mend this. I needed facts. Therefore, I moved. Lauren napped, Mia in her bassinet. I ordered the DNA kit, secret, swift. It landed days later, tucked in my Tai Chi bag. I swabbed myself, then Mia, her fussing piercing me. I mailed it, steady outside, reeling inside. Waiting was a vice. Lauren doted on Mia, clueless, while I eyed her phone, text she'd bury. You're a pro, I said, fishing. She beamed, blind to me. 2 weeks on, the envelope hit. I locked the bathroom, tore it open. 48% match. I stared, Googled. 50% for parent, 48% for kin, brother, uncle, father. Mia was mine, but not straight. Someone in my blood was her dad. My legs shook. Therefore, I stashed it, joined Lauren, masking the blow. You good? She asked, catching my drift. Wiped, I said, smiling. She nodded, rocking Mia. But my head spun. Mia was ours, yet not. Who? I'd feared she was the motel guy's. Now it twisted family. Nate was in Cali, barely around. Uncle Pete, ancient. Cousins far. Then Tom Dad crept in. He'd helped Lauren, hovered. No, not him. But the seed sprouted. Tai Chi failed, I was a storm. I held Mia. Her heat real, her father a riddle. Who made you? I whispered. She cooed, pure. Lauren slept, calm. I didn't. The 48% doubled the betrayal. Her cheat, my kin. I needed the who. Was T on her phone him? The motel man? I'd chase it. Mia cried, pulling me back. I soothed her, vowing truth. Lauren stirred, mumbling. I watched, gears turning. The kit cracked it open, someone close. I'd hunt them down, piece by piece. Mia's face held clues. I'd find them. That 48% was a splinter under my nail, sharp and deep. Mia napped in her crib, tiny fists curled, while I stood over her, mind racing. Lauren was upstairs, folding laundry, humming like life was sweet. But it wasn't. Someone in my blood had fathered Mia. I needed to narrow it. Nate, my brother, lived across the country, tied up with his own family. He'd sent a onesie for Mia, nothing more. Uncle Pete was a recluse, too old to travel. Cousins were dots on a map, none near Lauren. Then Tom, Dad, slid into focus. My throat tightened. He'd been close, dropping by with tools, food, smiles. Too close? Therefore, I sifted memories. Last summer, he'd driven Lauren to his lake house to clear out boxes while I was at a Tai Chi retreat. She'd stayed overnight, 8 months pregnant, claiming fatigue. I trusted it. Now it itched. That motel man, tall, broad, could match Tom's frame. I pushed it down. He'd raised me, taught me resilience after Mom passed. Not him, but the number glared. That night, Lauren's phone pinged. I crept down, saw T flash. She's perfect. My jaw clenched. T for Tom? I didn't barge in. Needed more. So I observed. Next day, he visited, tickling Mia's chin. Lauren laughed, handing him coffee. Best grandpa, she said. He grinned, too long. Therefore, I studied Mia. My hair, Lauren's nose. But her eyes, deep brown, echoed Tom's, not mine. Coincidence? The 48% said no. If it was him, it'd gut me. I couldn't accuse, not yet. Proof first. Lauren chatted with him, easy, while I sat, silent, plotting. You're quiet, Ree, he said, clapping my shoulder. Just soaking in, I lied. He nodded, clueless. Mia cooed, pulling me back. I held her, searching her face. Was Tom in there? I'd find out. Lauren's phone sat on the counter, tempting. I left it for now. The lake house nagged me. Had started there. I'd dig deeper, watch them closer. Tom hugged Lauren goodbye, casual. Too casual. I waved, planning. The 48% was my map. I'd follow it to him, or whoever. Soon. The 48% wasn't a fluke, it was a beacon. Mia's brown eyes stared up from her swing, Tom's shadow in them, while Lauren cooked dinner, oblivious. I couldn't live in this fog. I needed them exposed. So, I baited them. Let's have Dad over tomorrow, I said, stirring soup. Lauren's spoon hesitated. Tom? Sure, I'll roast chicken. Her smile was quick, too quick. Therefore, I dialed him. Dinner, 6. Bring that pie you make. He chuckled. For my girl? Done. My girl. Mia. Or Lauren. I hung up, Tai Chi breath steadying me. Lauren didn't suspect. I masked my cracks. Next day, I set up. Mia's high chair center stage, my chair angled to watch. Lauren prepped, humming, while I sharpened my focus. Tom arrived, pie in hand, all charm. Smells like heaven, he said, hugging her. I shook his hand, firm, eyes locked. They moved together, her passing salt, him brushing her elbow. Subtle but loud now. Therefore, I steered dinner. Mia's growing fast, I said, cutting chicken. Lauren nodded. She's a fighter, Tom added, winking at her. Winking. I smiled, filing it. Then, pouring juice, I slipped, splashing his coat. My fault, I said, grabbing it. His phone slid out, unlocked in the shuffle. I glimpsed a photo. Lauren, pregnant, beaming by his lake house. My pulse spiked. Check it, I said, handing it back. He took it, flustered, locking it fast. Too late, I'd seen. Therefore, I played dumb. All dry. He nodded, tense. Lauren cleared plates, chatting about Mia's naps. They relaxed, thinking I'd missed it. I hadn't. That photo tied him to her pregnancy. Lake house, not motel, but close enough. Was he T? The wink, the ease, it fit. Mia babbled, innocent. I'd shield her, and nail them. Great pie, I said flat. Tom grinned, oblivious. Lauren kissed my cheek later, fun night. I nodded, burning. The photo was a clue, not proof. I needed them caught, together, raw. Tom left, waving. I waved back, plotting. Lauren slept, peaceful. I didn't. That lake house day loomed. Had he crossed the line there? I'd push harder, watch tighter. The trap was planted. I'd make it bloom. Mia's truth deserved it. Tom's lake house photo was a match to my fire. 48% fueling it. Lauren fed Mia oatmeal, cooing, while I sipped coffee, planning. That wink, that ease, they weren't innocent. I needed them cornered live. So I tailed Tom. Next morning, I faked a headache, told Lauren I'd rest. Feel better, she said, buckling Mia in. I nodded, keys ready. Therefore, I parked near Tom's place, his truck idling. He pulled out a 10, no pie this time, just purpose. I followed, 2 cars back, Tai Chi breath slow. He didn't head to the lake, his usual haunt. He hit Rusty's diner, a greasy dive off the highway. I parked across, watching. Lauren's sedan rolled in, Mia's stroller in tow. My fists clenched. Therefore, I stayed put, phone out. They took a booth, visible through smudged glass. She leaned in, smiling. He tapped her hand. Mia napped, their shield. I snapped pics, blurry but real. They talked, close, unguarded. An hour ticked by. He paid. She stood. He hugged her long, tight, then left. She drove off, separate. I tailed him to a hardware store, casual as ever. I sat, seething. Therefore, I pieced it. Rusty's wasn't a motel, but it mirrored it. Secret, routine. That lake house photo tied him to her pregnancy. This tied him now. Was he the motel man too? The 48% pulsed. Mia's eyes, his brown. I drove home. Lauren there, unpacking brunch stuff. Head better? She asked. Yeah, I lied flat. She smiled, blind. Mia reached for me. I held her, staring. Tom's hug replayed, too familiar. I'd seen enough to push, not enough to strike. The diner was a thread. I weave it tight. Lauren hummed, chopping carrots. Tom's sweet, stopping by so much, she said. Sweet. I nodded, silent. He wasn't sweet. He was a thief. Mia's warmth grounded me. I protect her, expose them. The lake house, the diner, clues stacking. I needed the kill shot, proof beyond doubt. Lauren's phone buzzed. She glanced, ignored it. I watched, waiting. Tom thought he'd covered it. He hadn't. I'd follow again, catch the slip. The 48% was my compass. I pointed at him. The diner stung. Tom's hand on hers, Lauren's glow. Mia's 48% wasn't a riddle anymore. It was him. I couldn't wait. I needed the hammer. So I lured him back. Movie night, I told Lauren, stirring pasta. Invite Tom. He loves those cowboy flicks. She grinned. Perfect. Too perfect. I called him. Tomorrow, 7. Bring snacks. You got it, he said, chipper. I hung up, Tai Chi masking the boil inside. Therefore, I staged it. Next evening, Lauren laid out chips, Mia in her bouncer. Tom arrived, popcorn bag swinging, all ease. Good to unwind, he said, settling by her. I nodded, sitting opposite, eyes sharp. The film rolled, horses dust, but I watched them. He murmured. She chuckled. My nails dug in. Mid-scene, I stumbled, knocking his phone to the floor. Clumsy me, I said, scooping it up. Unlock it. Check the screen. He paused, then typed slow. I tilted it. Text from L. Rusty's was nice. Sent yesterday. My veins iced. Therefore, I handed it back, grinning. Looks good. He exhaled, fooled. Lauren paused the movie, grabbing Mia's bottle, leaving us. I leaned in. You're great with her. I said, probing. She's special, he replied, soft. Too soft, Lauren returned, cuddling close to him. I tracked every move. That text. Elle was her. Rusty's the lake house, it wove tight. Was he the motel shadow? Mia's brown eyes screamed yes. But I needed the clincher, hard proof. She yawned, fun vibe. Tom agreed, stretching. They thought I was dim. I wasn't. Therefore, I upped it. You two are tight, I said, casual. Family, Tom laughed. Family. Might get twisted. He left late, waving. Lauren kissed me. Nice idea. I nodded, plotting. The text tied them. Rusty's her initials. It wasn't enough to bury him. Yet. Mia's bouncer rocked, her innocence my drive. I'd push them again, force the break. Lauren slept, phone dark. I lay awake, replaying his pause, her chuckle. They'd slipped. I'd caught it. The 48% was my blade. I'd sharpen it. Tom's special rang hollow. I'd corner him soon. The truth was close. I'd rip it free. Rusty's text was a flare. Tom and Lauren tangled in my blood. Mia's 48% pointed straight at him, and I couldn't dodge it. I needed them cracked open now. So, I set the final hook. Lunch Sunday, I told Tom over the phone. Just us. Lauren's out. Burger run, he asked, bright. Yeah, I said, cold. He didn't hear it. Therefore, Sunday hit. Lauren left with Mia, 4 friends, stroller rolling. Tom arrived, Rusty's takeout in hand, grinning. We sat table bare but for bags. I let him talk, tires weather, while I unwrapped mine slow. Then I dropped it, got Mia's DNA back, I said, sliding the report over. 48%. Kin, you know what? His burger hung, grease dripping. Therefore, he blinked. What's this, Ree? Voice thin. I leaned in. She's been sneaking, motel, diner. URT. Lake house. Rusty's. I tossed my phone, diner pick, them cozy. Talk. His jaw slackened, eyes wide. You're off, he tried, weak. Lauren's key rattled. She was back. Timing perfect. She walked in, Mia on her hip, freezing. What's this? She squeaked. I held the report. Mia's 48%. He's why. Tom flinched. She paled. He broke. Once Lake house. I didn't. Lauren gasped. Tom, stop. Too late. Therefore I stood. When he slumped. Last summer. She was upset. It just, Lauren sobbed. I didn't mean it. I cut in. With my dad? You meant it. Mia wailed, chaos rising. I stared at Tom. My anchor, my ruin. You chased her. He nodded, wrecked. I'm sorry, son. Son. I laughed, bitter, grabbing my coat. Keep your sorry. Lauren reached. I dodged. Ryan, no. I snapped. I walked out, their pleas fading. The lake house, 8 months in, sealed it. Mia was his, my blood twisted. I'd loved her as mine. He'd stolen that. Tom's truck sat there, mocking. I climbed into mine, engine roaring. They'd built this lie. Motel, diner, all of it. I'd tear it down. Mia's cry echoed in me. I'd lost them. Wife, father, daughter's truth. Now, I'd make them feel it. The 48% was done. Revenge was next. I drove aimless, Tom sorry, a blade in my ribs. Lauren's sobs chased me, but Mia's wail cut deepest. She was his, not mine in the way I dreamed. The lake house confession shattered it. My wife, my father, my daughter's blood twisted. Tai Chi couldn't steady this. I was a wreck. I pulled into a lot. Engine off, staring at nothing. They played me, motel, diner, all those months. Therefore, I called Nate. Tom slept with Lauren. Mia's his, I said, voice flat. He cursed, stunned. You sure? DNA. 48%. He admitted it. Nate swore again. What now? Dunno, I lied. I knew. Revenge. I hung up, mind churning. Lauren texted, come back. Talk. I didn't reply. Tom's truck had sat there, smug, when I left. He'd raised me. Now this. Lauren's glow, once mine was his. Mia's eyes, his mocked me. Therefore, I went home late. Lauren sat on the couch, red-eyed. Mia, asleep upstairs. Ryan, please, she started. I held up a hand. You chose him. Lake house. While I built her crib. She flinched. It was once made her, I snapped. She crumpled, silent. I grabbed a bag, packed clothes, Tai Chi gear. Where are you going? She whispered. Away. I said, door slamming. Tom's voice echoed, son, a lie now. Therefore, I crashed in motel. Not the blue moon, never there. I lay awake, plotting. Mia was theirs now, biologically his, legally ours. I'd loved her, changed her, sung to her. They'd stolen that. Lauren's upset. Excuse rang hollow. 8 months in, she'd wanted him. Tom's chase confirmed it. My phone buzzed. Her again, then him. Let's fix this. Fix? I laughed, dark. The 48% was my truth. They'd built the lie. I lost my family. Not by death, but betrayal. Mia's face swam up, innocent his. I'd protect her still, but them? No. I'd hit back. The lake house loomed, where it happened. Tom loved it. Lauren tainted it. I'd start there. They'd feel this void I carried. Sleep dodged me. Revenge didn't. Morning broke gray, matching me. I sat in that motel room, coffee bitter, Mia's 48% report crumpled beside me. Lauren and Tom thought apologies fixed this. They didn't. I'd lost my center. Tai Chi useless against their mess. So I planned. Tom's lake house was his pride. Decades of fishing, family trips. Where he'd taken her. It was mine to ruin. Therefore, I checked. Years back, he'd put in a trust. Me as co-owner after Mom died. Legal leverage. I call my lawyer, voice steady. Can I sell it? Papers rustled. Your name's on it. Yes. I smirked. Tom didn't know I'd kept those docs. He'd bragged about that cabin, his legacy. Lauren's laugh there, 8 months pregnant, fueled me. I'd burn it down not with fire but cash. Therefore, I moved fast. Met a realtor that day, a grizzled guy named Hal. Quick sale, I said, showing the deed. Lakefront, good bones, $200K easy, he replied. I nodded. List it. Now. He didn't ask why. I didn't tell. Lauren texted again. Mia misses you. My chest ached. Mia, my girl, his blood. I didn't answer. Tom called. I blocked him. They'd built this. I dismantle it. By night, I'll have a buyer. Cash, no fuss. Therefore, I signed next day. Papers crisp, pen heavy. $210,000 wired to me. Tom's sanctuary gone. I didn't stop there. He hated that veterans charity, some old grudge. So I donated it all, every cent, to them in his name. Confirmation pinged. Thomas Hayes, thank you. I pictured his face, red, raging. Good. Lauren's role hit me. She'd chosen that spot that night. I'd hit her too. I texted her, me is yours. Tell her about her real dad someday. Sent. Done. The lake house sale was my fist, the donation my twist. Mia's crib sat empty at home. I'd left it. They'd feel this separate raw. I checked into a new place, a cheap inn, staring at the ceiling. Revenge tasted sharp, not sweet but right. They'd taken my trust, my daughter's story. I'd taken their piece. Now I'd wait. The sale hit Tom like a brick. I felt it from miles away. I checked into that inn, a dim room with a sagging bed, when my phone lit up. His number, unblocked by mistake, roared through. You sold the cabin? My cabin. His voice cracked, fury and shock. Ours, I said cold. Trust says so. He sputtered. That's my soul, Was I cut in? Money's gone too, Vet's got it. Silence. Then a growl. You little, I hung up, pulse steady. Tai Chi didn't calm this. It focused it. Therefore, Lauren called next. Ryan, what's happening? Tom's losing it. Her voice shook. Mia cooed back. Sold his lake house, I said flat. Donated it. You're welcome. She gasped. Why? You know why. Lake house. 8 months. She choked. That's cruel. Cruel? I laughed dry. You two wrote that script. I clicked off. Mia's coo lingered. His eyes, her innocence. I'd aimed there. It landed. Therefore, Tom showed up at the inn next day. I let slip my spot to Nate, knowing he'd tell. Door banged. I opened it. He stood gray-wrecked. You had no right, he spat. You had no right to her. I shot back. Mia's mine, he said desperate. 48% says different. I replied, stepping close. You chased her. My wife. He deflated, eyes wet. I didn't mean you did, I said, shutting the door. He pounded once, then left. Lauren's text hit. Please, Ryan, stop. No. Therefore, I waited. Word spread. Nate called. Town's buzzing. Tom's a mess. Lauren's hiding. Good. The vets sent a plaque to Tom's house. His name, my strike. I pictured her face when she saw it, guilt, panic. Mia's laugh haunted me. I'd left her with them, but not free. They'd carry this. I walked to the inn's window, staring at dusk. The lake house was theirs, where they'd broken me. Now it was nothing. $210,000 gone, their lie exposed. I'd lost my family. They'd lost their shield. Revenge wasn't joy. It was balance. Mia's future was theirs to choke on. I'd watch it burn. Days blurred at the inn, a quiet I hadn't felt since Mia's birth. The sales echo faded. Tom's rage, Lauren's pleas, but the weight stayed. I'd gutted them. Lake house sold, cash dumped where he'd hated. Tai Chi returned, slow forms in the room's dim light, grounding me. But Mia's face, her curls, his eyes, stayed sharp. I'd won, but it hollowed me. Therefore I checked. Nate texted, "Tom's drinking heavy. Lauren's a ghost." I nodded to no one. The vet's plaque had landed. Neighbors saw. Tongues wagged. She called once, voice cracked. "Mia needs you. She's got you," I'd said, ending it. I'd left her my text. Her burden now. Tom's legacy was ash. Hers was truth she'd dodge. I walked the inn's lot, air crisp, thinking. They'd built that night. Lake house, her belly full of Mia. I'd raised their comfort. Fair. Therefore, a package came. My Tai Chi gear, shipped by Nate from home. A note. She's keeping the crib. Lauren's handwriting. I smirked, dark. Let her sleep by it, empty. I practiced outside, locals staring, kicks, flows, common chaos. A kid watched, wide-eyed. "You fight?" he asked. "Myself," I said. He ran off. Mia's giggle echoed in me. I'd fought for her, lost her to them. The 48% was my scar, their ruin, my mark. Therefore I settled. Found a job, warehouse, night shifts. Simple, mindless. No calls came now. Tom licked wounds, Lauren hid. Nate said she'd asked about me. I told him Stonewall. Mia's first birthday loomed. Hers to face, his to claim. I'd sent no gift. They'd taken my trust, my father's honor, my daughter's story. I'd taken their peace, their pride. Even, I lay on that sagging bed, staring at cracks. Revenge had landed. Lake house gone, their lie bare. But I wasn't whole. Mia was theirs, legally mine, biologically his. I'd walk away, let them stew. The inn's hum filled the silence. I'd live, scarred, steady. They'd drown in what they'd sown. I exhaled, Tai Chi slow, accepting it. The fight was done. The fallout was theirs. A month passed, the inn my cave, night shifts my rhythm. Tai Chi kept me sane, forms at dawn, breath deep. Mia's 48% was fact, Tom's confession, my fuel. I'd sold the lake house, dumped the cash, revenge carved clean. They'd felt it. Nate whispered updates. Tom hit the bar daily. Lauren stayed home. Mia, their fragile glue. I didn't care, didn't want to. Therefore, I got a letter. Lauren scrawl. Mia's walking. Thought you'd want this. A photo. Mia, toddling, brown eyes bright. His eyes. My chest cracked. I'd held her first steps in my head. They'd taken that too. I burned it. Ashes in the inn's sink. No reply. She'd sent it to wound or beg. I'd given her my terms. Tell Mia the truth someday. Her move. Tom's silence roared. He'd lost his cabin, his mask. Good. Therefore I walked. Quit the inn, leased a studio near work, bare mine. Hung my Tai Chi mat, started teaching again. Locals joined, quiet types like me now. A woman asked, "You're intense." "What?" "Life," I said, moving on. Mia's laugh faded. I let it. They'd shattered me. Lake house night, diner hugs. I'd shatter back. The vet's donation ran ads. Tom's name plastered, his hate baited. Lauren's guilt would choke her, Mia's grandpa her dad. I made sure. Therefore, I ended it. One last text to her. "You're on your own. Both of you." Sent. Block them. Nate called. "They're done, Ree. You won." "Didn't win," I said. "Survived." He paused, then hung up. Mia was theirs, his blood, her lie. I'd loved her, lost her to them. The lake house sale was my cut, the donation my seal. They'd live it. Mia asking, them squirming. I stood in my studio, dusk falling, forms flowing. The 48% was past, revenge done. I was free, scarred, alone, steady. Thank you for tuning into this story. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you're watching from right now. Let us know in the comments.